2017 meeting of the Rensselaer County Legislature. This portion of the meeting, we do resolutions that have passed in prior months. We have one tonight from July's meeting, P30317, resolution honoring Principal Susan Merrill upon the occasion of her retirement from Sacred Heart School. Presentation by Legislator Grimm. Any other legislator would like to join?
She was talking to the guy in the blue suit in front of her.
So, good evening. It's my pleasure tonight to be presenting this resolution honoring Principal Susan Merrill upon the occasion of her retirement from Sacred Heart. Before I begin, I think in full disclosure, I should mention that I have a long history with Susan and her family. We went to St. Patrick's along with Mark Fleming many years ago. We won't mention how many, but we'll leave it at that. So, whereas consistent with the duty of this legislative body and to recognize the contributions and achievements of the citizens of Rensselaer County, we acknowledge with profound respect and admiration a milestone in the life of an outstanding member of the Rensselaer County community. And whereas Susan Merrill, principal of the Sacred Heart School, has announced her retirement upon conclusion of the school year in June of 2017, and whereas Susan Merrill has been principal at Sacred Heart School for the past 22 years, following the highly respected Sister Ann Quinn. Therefore, much was expected of her. She was effective immediately and continued to build a group of teachers and staff that have truly made a difference in their students' lives. And whereas Principal Merrill recognized the benefits of a faith-based education herself as a student and a graduate of St. Patrick's School and Catholic Central High School. And whereas Principal Merrill started her career as a teacher at St. Anthony's in 1976 until the school closed in 1978, when she then moved to St. Joseph's School until its closure and found herself at Sacred Heart in 1986. Third's the charm, I guess, on that. As a kindergarten teacher. And whereas in 1994, after a 2-month period as interim principal, she was promoted to school principal. And whereas Principal Merrill has been recognized in a variety of ways, including the Diocesan Elementary School Representative for the Catholic School Administrators. She was nominated and received the Bishop Howard Hubbard Distinguished Principal Award, the Woman of the Year Award from the National Association of Professional Women, recognized for 10, 25, and 35 years of service to the Roman Catholic Diocese, as well as a recipient of the 2016 Lighting the Fire for Catholic Education Award, chosen from a highly competitive group of educators by the Catholic School Administrators Association of New York State. For her professionalism, leadership, and dedication, now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with the tradition of this legislative body to recognize those individuals whose superior achievements have contributed to the vitality of this community, we hereby extend grateful appreciation to Principal Susan Merrill from all of us. Thank you. Would any of the other legislators like to say anything? No? Another St. Patrick's alum?
It's our honor and pleasure, Sue, as representatives of Rensselaer County, to give you this proclamation and proclaim, a little bit about your history. I'll just say this, that, I do know you personally for a long time, and your family groomed you for this. I remember Leona, Mrs. Kern, and your father, Warren. House was always, a big house, always open for neighborhood kids and to mentor us in really legitimate ways to live a good life, your parents, and you especially, Leona. But You know, as far as being a teacher, I do have a personal recollection. I was in Catholic Central. I was in St. Patrick's and Catholic Central with you, but I was a year behind you. I was a junior, and I was not a model student. I was in a study hall taking Math 12, really struggling, and I was more interested, I guess, probably in reading the Daily News or something at the time. But Sue, even back then, you helped me to get through that and, you know, actually pass a course that was probably too challenging for me. And, you know, you were a teacher then, and that was your, that is your profession and really your life's work, and we're happy for that. My children, in particular, went to Sacred Heart School. You were my son's kindergarten teacher just before you took over for Sister Ann Queen when she got sick, and so I have a personal vested interest in your ability to teach and administer a school. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You want to say something? What? Wait, we're not done yet. Sure not.
We're getting everything you told us to say right, aren't we? I would like to just tell you a quick story about my grandsons. I have 3 grandsons that have gone through Sacred Heart School. The oldest one is now at Southmore, and it's because of you, the school, and everybody else there that he has applied for, or in the stages of applying for, West Point. And I think he's going to go. And it's because of the school. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anyone else? I just want to add that, you know, in these times, we all know the Catholic schools, as I had mentioned, are closing. So it's quite a tribute to a principal that can also keep a school open. It's not just about educating the students. It's about keeping this, you know, economically afloat and, you know, surviving within a community that is constantly changing. And for that, it's not just about education. It's really about dedication and contribution. And that's a big congratulations. So I'm going to ask if you'd like to say a few words. Sure. I'd ask you to introduce your family that's here with you. Okay.
Yes, all right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Peter. And first of all, thank you to all the legislators. I am very, very grateful and humbled. I'm one of those people that I just as soon stay behind the scenes and behind the curtains, but I am very, very truly honored tonight. Thank you. I'd like to introduce my husband, Keith Merrill. My mom, as Peter and Mark already told you, my mom, Leona, who will be 93 this September, and my daughter, Courtney. My daughter, Courtney, and also my Aunt Lucy in the back, who's decided to stay back there. And I will just say a few words, just a couple of things. I really don't have anything prepared, but I do want to say that you know, we talk about Catholic education, and I've been all through from the kindergartner on up. I've always wanted to be a teacher, but I've just been so blessed to be in a job that I loved for 41 years. And how many of us can say that these days, is that we love the job that we are in? And I've met so many children and so many people, but we are so fortunate in this area that many of our community people are very supportive of our school too. And so I commend you for that, and for anyone else who's around and can support us in any way. Thank you so much. Again, I'm honored, and best wishes in all that you do, because I know I'm going to have a great time in my retirement. Thank you all. Thanks again.
Because you have the frames, you can give them out to I'm really jealous about it. A few more years. A few more years. I'm on the plan. I'm on the plan. Nice to see you.
Nice to you. Yes, nice to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Everybody looking ready?
Oh, great.
We had 9. You had 7, right? Did you have 7? We went by numbers. They had 9.
Are they all still living?
I lost my sister 2 years ago.
Thank you, educator Susan Merrill, for joining us. A career of mentoring young lives. Thank you so much. I have no other presentations for this evening. Anyone from the public would like to address the legislature? Hearing none, we'll call the meeting of August 2017 to order. The clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Bailey. Here. Ms. Bresler. Mr. Danaher. Here. Ms. Doran. Mr. Fiacco. Here. Mr. Fleming. Here. Mr. Grimm. Here. Mr. Harrington. Present. Ms. Hoffman. Mr. Leverage. Here. Mr. Manning. Here. Mr. Pavlik. Here. Mr. Shannon. Present. Mr. Stammel. Here. Mr. Tessman. Here. Mr. Walsh. Here. Mr. Welcome. Here. Mr. Wysocki. Here. Chairman Brunel.
Here.
17 present, 2 absent.
Invocation, Mr. Stammel, please.
Heavenly Father, inspire us to mediate in your holy words every day. Let them confer on our consolidation for our past life, strength for my present life, and hope on our future life in your heaven. We ask this in your name.
Amen.
Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Grimm, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Harrington?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the regular meeting of July 11, 2017, and approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Presentation of petitions.
On file.
Presentation of communications.
On file.
Reports of commissions.
On file.
Departmental reports.
On file.
Report of standing committees.
On file.
Local laws.
There are 1 tonight.
I will have the clerk call the local law.
A local law of the County of Rensselaer imposing a wireless communication surcharge pursuant to the authority of the tax law 186G and repealing local law number 6 of 2002, introduced by legislators Danaher, Brownell, and Grimm.
I'll have the clerk please call the roll.
Mr. Bailey.
Yes.
Mr. Danaher.
Yes.
Ms. Doran.
Aye.
Mr. Fiacco.
Aye.
Mr. Fleming.
No.
Mr. Grimm.
Yes.
Mr. Harrington.
Aye.
Mr. Leverage.
Yes.
Mr. Manning.
Yes.
Mr. Pavlik.
Yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Aye.
Mr. Stammel.
Aye.
Mr. Tessman.
Yes.
Mr. Walsh.
Yes.
Mr. Welcome.
Yes.
Mr. Wysocki.
Yes.
Chairman Brunel.
Yes.
16 ayes, 1 nay.
Index of resolutions. P 30317, please.
P30317, resolution honoring Rensselaer County Colonel Peter Goebel, introduced by Chairman Brunel and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P30417.
P30417, resolution honoring Michael Coca as recipient of the 2017 Hart Clute Award, introduced by legislators Grimm, Manny, Doran, Fleming, Pavlik, Welcome, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P30517.
P30517, resolution recognizing September 24, 2017 as National Gold Star Mother's Day, introduced by legislators Walsh, Testman, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P30617.
P30617, resolution declaring the month of September 2017 in Rensselaer County as Month of Remembrance, introduced by Chairman Brunel and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P30717.
P30717, resolution recognizing National POW MIA Day, September 15, 2017, introduced by legislators Walsh, Testman, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P30817.
P30817, resolution recognizing September 18th through 24th, 2017 as United States Constitution Week in Rensselaer County, introduced by legislators Stammel and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P30917.
P30917, resolution recognizing September 2017 as National Preparedness Month, introduced by legislators Stammel and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P31017.
P31017, resolution recognizing September 2017 as National Recovery Month in Rensselaer County, introduced by legislators Leverage, Testman, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P31117.
P31117, resolution recognizing the anniversary of the 19th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America, introduced by legislators Danaher, Bailey, Fiacco, and Hoffman.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P31217.
P31217, resolution recognizing the month of August as National Water Quality Month, introduced by legislators Grimm, Manny, Doran, Fleming, Pavlik, and Welcome.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P31317.
P31317, resolution in support of changes to the 2018 Farm Bill recommended by members of the New York State Senate Congressional Delegation, introduced by legislators Harrington and Wysocki.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
P31417.
P31417, resolution changing the date of the September 2017 meeting of the Rensselaer County Legislature, introduced by legislators Brunel, Shannon, Harrington, Grimm, and Manny.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
G31517.
G31517, resolution authorizing the purchase of ballot paper for the voting machines used by the Board of Elections, introduced by legislators Danaher, Brunel, and Grimm.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
17 ayes.
G31617.
G31617, resolution authorizing the County of Rensselaer to sell certain real property to the Village of Hoosick Falls for public benefit, Bureau of Finance, introduced by legislators Danaher, Brunel, and Grimm. This is a roll call vote.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Danaher?
Yes.
Ms. Doran?
Aye.
Mr. Fiacco?
Yes.
Mr. Fleming?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Harrington?
Aye.
Mr. Leverage?
Yes.
Mr. Manny?
Yes.
Mr. Pavlik?
Yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Aye.
Mr. Stammel?
Aye.
Mr. Testman?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Welcome?
Aye.
Mr. Wysocki?
Aye.
Chairman Brunel?
Aye. Talking to the mayor today, he had wanted to make sure if I had any questions about this resolution tonight. I said we didn't. We were in good shape. So they have a meeting, their same meeting for the villages tonight, so I think they'll be pleased that this is passing tonight. As you know, this year's been the last couple of years have been a little crazy in Hoosick Falls. We need to get going on the right track here. Hopefully this will help the water department and water district get them in a better place. So thank you all.
17 ayes.
G 31717.
G 31717, resolution authorizing payment of claims to Julio Hernandez III Esquire as court-appointed Special District Attorney, County Attorney's Office, introduced by legislators Walsh, Chessman, Manning.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 31817.
G 31817, resolution authorizing transfer of a parcel of real property to High Peak Solar LLC, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Danaher, Brunel, and Grimm. Again, this is a roll call vote.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Danaher?
Yes.
Ms. Doran? Mr. Fiacco? Mr. Fleming? Mr. Grimm? Mr. Harrington? Mr. Leverage?
Yes.
Mr. Manny? Mr. Pavlik?
Yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Aye.
Mr. Stammel?
Aye.
Mr. Testman?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh? Mr. Welcome?
Aye.
Mr. Wysocki? Chairman Brunel?
Yes.
17 ayes.
G 31917.
G 31917, resolution authorizing transfer of a parcel of real property. Oh. Hold on. Resolution of the County Legislature of the County of Rensselaer, New York, increasing taxes on the sale and uses of tangible personal property and certain services on the occupancy of hotel rooms and amusement charges pursuant to Article 29 of the tax law, introduced by legislators Danaher, Brunel, and Grimm. This is a roll call vote.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Bailey? Yes. Mr. Fiacco? Yeah. Danaher?
Yes.
Doran?
Aye.
Mr. Fiacco?
Aye.
Mr. Fleming?
Yes.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Harrington?
Aye.
Mr. Leverage?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Pavlik?
Yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Aye.
Mr. Stammel?
Aye.
Mr. Testman?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Welcome?
Aye.
Mr. Wysocki?
Aye.
Chairman Brunel?
Yes.
17 ayes.
G 32017.
G 32017, resolution authorizing the purchase of inmate supplies jumpsuits for the use in the Rensselaer County Correctional Facility, Office of the Sheriff, introduced by legislators Walsh, Chessman, Manning.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 32117.
G 32117, resolution authorizing the purchase of inmate supplies, underclothing for the use in the Rensselaer County Correctional Facility, Office of the Sheriff, introduced by legislators Walsh, Chessman, Manning.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 32217.
G 32217, resolution authorizing the chief fiscal officer to sell real property at public auction, Bureau of Finance, introduced by legislators Danaher, Brunel, and Grimm.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 32317.
G 32317, resolution authorizing agreements with youth development programs, Unified Family Services, Youth Services, introduced by legislators Walsh, Testman, Pavlik.
All those in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes, 1 abstention, Mr. Pavlik.
G 32417.
G 32417, resolution authorizing the purchase and installation of flooring, Van Rensselaer Manor, introduced by legislators Leverage, Testman, and Pavlik.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 32517.
G 32517, resolution authorizing payment to the New York State Office of Medicaid Inspector General, Van Rensselaer Manor, introduced by legislators Leverage, Testman, and Pavlik.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 32617.
G 32617, resolution authorizing a grant agreement with the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York and amending the 2017 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Walsh, Chessman, Manning.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 32717.
G 32717, resolution authorizing a contract for the communication equipment maintenance, approving agreements and reimbursement, and amending the 2017 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Walsh, Chessman, Manning.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 32817.
G 32817, resolution amending the 2017 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Walsh, Chessman, Manning.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 32917.
G 32917, resolution authorizing an agreement with Rensselaer City School District and amending the Rensselaer County Adopted 2017 Budget, Department of Mental Health, introduced by legislators Leverage, Tespin, and Pavlik.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 33017.
G 33017, resolution amending the 2017 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Unified Family Services, Aging, introduced by legislators Leverage, Danaher, Pavlik, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 33117.
G 33117, resolution amending the 2017 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Unified Family Services, Aging, introduced by legislators Leverage, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 33217.
G 33217, resolution authorizing purchase of a vehicle, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 33317.
G 33317, resolution authorizing contracts for the purchase of blades and shoes for snowplows and leveling wings, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Danaher, Pavlik, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes, 1 abstention, Mr. Shannon.
G 33417.
G 33417, resolution authorizing contracts for the purchase of coarse aggregates, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Danaher, Pavlik, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes, 1 abstention, Mr. Shannon.
G 33517.
G 33517, resolution authorizing contracts for heavy truck parts and repairs, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Danaher, Pavlik, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 33617.
G 33617, resolution amending the 2017 adopted Rensselaer County Budget, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 33717.
G 33717, resolution authorizing contracts for highway equipment rental with operator, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Bailey, Fleming, Harrington, and Fleming.
Fleming and Fleming.
Fleming and Fleming. He really likes this one.
All those in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes, 1 abstention, Mr. Shannon.
I thought maybe the council, you got a council there. G 33817.
G 33817, resolution authorizing the purchase of load lugger buckets for disposal of grits and screening, Sewer District Number 1, introduced by legislators Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Yes. Noting the abstention of legislator Shannon.
16 ayes, 1 abstention, Mr. Shannon.
G 33917.
G 33917, resolution authorizing contract with Albany Medical Center Hospital, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Leverage, Bailey, Fleming, Hoffman, Bresler, and Doran.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 34017.
G 34017, resolution authorizing purchase of vehicle, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Hoffman, Bresler, and Doran.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 34117.
G 34117, resolution authorizing a contract with Cornell Cooperative Extension of Rensselaer County, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Leverage, Bailey, Fleming, Hoffman, Bresler, and Doran.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 34217.
G 34217, resolution amending the 2017 adopted Rensselaer County Budget, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Hoffman, Bresler, and Doran.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 34317.
G 34317, resolution authorizing payment of claims to Matthew P. Foley, Esquire, as court-appointed Special District Attorney, County Attorney, introduced by legislators Walsh, Chessman, Manning.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 34417.
G 34417, resolution authorizing the purchase of equipment for the Emergency Communication Systems Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Walsh, Testman, Manning.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
P 34517.
P 34517, resolution in memoriam of Daniel L. Fuller, introduced by legislators Leverage, Bresler, Shannon, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
Couple late files. P 34617, please.
P 34617, resolution commending Jacqueline Nixon on her dedicated service to the city of Rensselaer, introduced by legislator Chairman Burnell.
All those in favor? Opposed?
17 ayes.
G 34717.
G 34717, resolution amending the 2017 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget District Attorney, introduced by Chairman Burnell.
All those in favor?
17
Opposed?
ayes.
Wishful thinking on your part. Anything further? I have a couple things. Just to remind everybody that the Scotticoke Fair, our Rensselaer County Fair, is Labor Day weekend coming up. We won't meet again before that. And obviously, we passed tonight, our meeting is changed in September to Wednesday, September 13th. Just a reminder. Motion to adjourn? Veterans Ceremony, next Monday morning. I believe it's a father and a son. I couldn't tell you the names right off the top of my head, but yes. Thank you.
Patrick Russell.
Thank you. Thank you, Legislator Fleming.
647.
Motion to adjourn. We're adjourned.